Magovanen. This video is an interview with the Amazon Lord of the Rings channel, Fellowship of Fans. If you didn't already know, his channel covers all of the news on the upcoming Lord of the Rings TV series. And be sure to stay to the end for a quick little game.
Greetings everybody, and I hope that you are all well. I thank you for this story for letting me be on this great channel and for this collaboration, and I can't wait to answer these questions. And the first question is actually quite interesting, and it is, will the Lord of the Rings TV show be good? And there's so many ways you can answer this question, as firstly, the one way I take it from is firstly my initial opinion, and I think with $1 billion going into it, that I think, because let alone it has to have good high production value, from that sense it is, but also the thing is that we still don't know a lot about the show. We don't know about the full cast yet, we don't know what storylines they will be following, we don't know which characters we'll be seeing in the show, so it's really hard to decide from the little things we have how good the show will be. But for my initial view, I believe it'll be good. But one thing that we can kinda analyze is, will it be accurate? And I think going into a TV show, or thought when there be a TV show based on Tolkien's works, I always knew that wouldn't be fully accurate, and that's because firstly, it's a TV show. There's going to be so much extra things needed. And maybe because for the movies there was actually things taken out because of the time length, but now we have a lot more time. So, and let alone there's going to be new characters as well, so that's automatically not accurate. But it depends. I want to see how Amazon do it, because I'll be okay if it's not fully accurate, but it makes sense for the show, and still feels like Tolkien's. But I think another interesting thing about it being accurate is that I still have full faith in Tolkien mistakes. Apparently they're able to veto anything, and they said that, quote, they have to follow the same beats of the second age, and that's what Amazon has to follow. So the show will be saying the main things. So if we go throughout the show and see the main things of the second age and the same storyline, then I believe it will be alright. The thing that I am most afraid of happening in the TV show is that the new characters that are made don't feel like Tolkien characters, or characters that Tolkien would have created, or characters that feel fit in Middle-earth. And I think that's one of the most important things the show have to get right, because we don't want them to feel out of place or not written properly. So yeah, that's my main concern. The thing that I'm most hopeful about this TV series is seeing all the new places in Middle-earth and exploring them for the first time, like Numenor, like Lindon, like Eregion, and seeing maybe early LotR as well, even Harad. So many new places I'll be seeing, and seeing world building in Middle-earth, and being able to see a new representation in Middle-earth, and seeing all these places I think will be really, really great. I'm also most hopeful for seeing all these new places. So that is actually a very interesting question. So for the first bit about if Lord of the Rings on Prime ends, so it's about 5 seasons, so we'll probably see about 8 years of the show. So 8 years later, if my channel's even, if I'm still doing the channel, then hopefully I am. But the good thing is that in the contract with the Tolkien estate there is already a spin-off, so we'll probably be seeing a spin-off in the next few years. And also with Amazon acquiring the rights to the show, I believe in the next few years we'll be seeing stuff like animations, or not cartoons, but more just maybe different versions of medias of Tolkien. So we have the new game as well. And if Lord of the Rings on Prime ended, what I'll do with my channel if there's no show. But the great thing about Tolkien is that there's so many things that you can explore and make content on, and even if the show ended, I still have maybe a LotR. I can talk about the movies, I can do analysis on the books. There's so many great things I can place on the games. We've got a few new games, Tolkien games coming out next year. I can do more lore videos, because they're one of my favourite videos to create as well. So there's so many different avenues I can go down regarding Tolkien, so I never thought of that as a problem. When asked this question, a lot of people normally go to Benedict Cumberbatch probably playing Anatar, but I believe an even better choice for the role is probably Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So yeah, I think Tom Hiddleston would be a great Anatar, and we could already see him a kind of play a character like Anatar in the Avengers and stuff like that as well. I know it's probably not gonna happen because he has his own show now, the Loki show, I think. Don't know, but it'd be great to see him play Anatar. He has the fair looks for it. I could probably say he's quite handsome, but at the same time, he does have that devilish side to him as well, and the quite sneaky side that Anatar needs to corrupt Numenor. Like the casting crew so far, and it's going to be quite interesting seeing actors and actresses like Morphy Clark playing Galadriel, Robert Aramayo probably playing Elrond, and especially Ismael Cruz Cordova. I'm quite interested in seeing who he's playing, but I know for a fact that that isn't the full cast, and I know from inside sources as well, but can't really say who. But from what I do know is that Maxime Baldry has joined the cast since that press release. Simon Morales has, Georgie Alton, Lara Lou. I think a few days ago another young actress joined the cast. So yeah, there's a few new actors and actresses joining, even some speculation that Kaya Scodelario, she'd probably be the biggest actor on the cast if she joined, but overall I think it is a promising, quite a diverse cast, but I believe we will be seeing more of the cast. But so far, I'm quite happy that a lot of the main roles are for people who are not as well known, because I think that's the best thing for main characters in TV shows, when the main actors are not well known. If the show is really highly inaccurate, then I can see room for boycotting, but it is my personal opinion that I just don't believe that Amazon will go down this route, because I think they're putting so much on this show to be greatly loved. So I think they want to make a Middle Earth universe, so I believe that they won't. I think they will stick to the law that much, but if it gets to a point where it's really highly inaccurate and maybe quite insulting to Tolkien, then yeah, I'll see what everyone else is doing, or maybe even start something myself and boycott it. But that's a question for the future, as we'll just have to wait and see. I have thought about this before, and it all depends on how the show will be released. So if it's released weekly or about 2 episodes a week, then I want to do an initial reaction, which is about 20 minutes or half an hour after the episode's aired. So what my initial reviews on is probably more of a reactionary video, and then I'll write some notes, and then probably a day later I'll do a full in-depth analysis of that video, and then I might be able to do some more different videos of that as well. But that's the structure I want to do if it's going to be released weekly or 2 episodes a week. But if it's released all in one go, I've not fully planned for that, because I'd be having to make a lot of videos in one go. So I'm banking on it being uploaded once or twice a week. So 2 episodes a week could be ideal. So I'll put the next 2 questions into this one response, because firstly, it actually is not confirmed that the first season will have 20 episodes, and it's actually 8 episodes in season 1, and that was, I think, originally in a press release back in January. Amazon said that, and then again I've been hearing again that's going to be 8 episodes, and the first 2 episodes are the pilot episodes. So yeah, and second of all, has also been confirmed about a few years ago that there will be 5 seasons. That's guaranteed, there will be 5 seasons. So of course in the show you still have to renew it after each season, but Amazon are doing 5 seasons for the show. So hope that answers both questions. I think the main focuses / events that we'll be seeing in the show will probably be the Forging of the Rings and probably the War of the Elves and Sauron. So around that time frame in the Second Age, as I believe even from the maps that we saw a few years ago, it really did indicate that we'll probably be seeing around those years. So, and I also think that for Amazon that's pretty good, just because for people who have just watched the movies and are new viewers, don't know a lot about the Second Age, seeing the Forging of the Rings and seeing the One Ring will be quite familiar to them, probably made them want to watch more. So I think that's a good step for Amazon as well, just show wise and marketing wise. So yeah, I believe we'll probably see that maybe near the end of the show. We'll probably see the Last Alliance, but I believe we'll see around that time, and also maybe the corruption of Numenor by Anatar as well. So there's probably 3-4 events we'll probably see in the show. So far it does seem that Amazon wants to stay in line with the Jackson films and have continuity with it. So it does make sense if he is on board or working on it a bit, but I believe if he is, it'll probably only be in a consulting role. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So, but in my opinion, I'm on a boat with a few other people where they want actually a brand new vision and view of Middle Earth. So maybe leave Jackson's idea and landscape of it to one side and see a new visuals, a new Middle Earth in general. But it's interesting, but I'm still happy that he's involved because he does have a lot of experience in bringing Middle Earth to light. So as I just said, if he's involved, then it'll probably be more consulting role, but it'll be quite interesting and hopefully he does a great job. Well, I believe that one of the main reasons that the Tolkien estate sold the rights of the Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, of Tolkien's works to Amazon is because Amazon probably let them be more involved in the project rather than other companies like Netflix or Hulu. So yeah, that is quite interesting. So I think they have quite an interesting, and I think that's quite an important one, because if you remember last year, Thomas Shippey, I believe his name, the Tolkien scholar who was working the show, said that the Tolkien estate could veto any decisions or anything that they want from the show, something along the lines of that. So yeah, they do have power on that as well, and I believe that that Amazon have to show the Tolkien estate, I think, a few of the episodes in the show first, see if they get approval from it. So yeah, I believe the Tolkien estate actually have quite a big role from it as well. So they do have quite a lot of power, and maybe potentially more than they did in the movies as well. So yeah, I believe they have quite big influence in the show, but we'll just have to wait and see, because of course we still don't know a lot about any of this. So yeah, I believe that Amazon will be quite accurate with the show regarding how close it is to Tolkien's works, as I believe that this show is more of a tester for more to come, for example like the spin-offs, and I think they want to create more of maybe a Middle Earth universe or Tolkien universe. So this is, I think they want to get this right, maybe wanting so they can build from this. So I believe they'll be accurate, but again, it is all just opinion because we hardly have any facts or any knowledge on what they are doing. So everything is really silent right now. So maybe if maybe in like 6 months time, maybe in 2 weeks, I might have a different answer to this question if more news comes out. But for my own speculation so far, that is what I believe. I think the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show should feel like its own entity and not really feel like Game of Thrones, in the sense that it's two different worlds, and Middle Earth is such a unique feeling and such a unique view that they have to be different to Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is more English medieval type time, and I just don't think that I think recently, because Game of Thrones has been successful, a lot of the more fantasy recently have been trying to take the more medieval English concept, for example The Witcher or stuff like The Lost Kingdom. So it is quite interesting, but I think that the people at Amazon should not be looking at Game of Thrones in that sense and try stick to what works, and that is having a great Middle Earth and having it more high fantasy maybe as well. So yeah, maybe what this will say that might be like Game of Thrones, we'll never know, we'll just have to wait and see, because as I said in the last question, this could change in 2 weeks and I might have a completely different answer, because we're basically living off scraps right now. Regarding the appendices, so I believe when Amazon spent 250 million on the rights to Tolkien's works, I think the majority of that was actually the appendices from The Return of the King. And I think that the reason that was because of how much of Numenor is actually in the appendices and how much they can use from that and actually build a show from that as well. And of course there's lots of like the lines, got a line with the Dunedain in there as well, you got Aragorn's line. So there's so many things that they could actually use. I know it's not relevant, like the Angmar Wars in there as well, so if they ever want to do that, maybe in the spin-off show in the future, that's in the appendices in a bit as well. So yeah, I think there's quite a lot of material, but also there's the unfinished tales. Amazon could use that as well and nab things from that. So they've actually got quite a lot of resources from Tolkien's works that they can use. I think it's nearly impossible for the show to cover the entire Second Age. Maybe potentially with the spin-off they could, but even then, they have to show the beginning of the Second Age, which I doubt they will. And thinking about it as well, even the time jumps will be massive, as Second Age is over 3,000 years old and 3,000 years in length, so it'll be really hard to be able to do this, and the time jumps will be massive, and then we might lose. I think it'll be really hard for in 5 seasons to cover thousands of years of knowledge. So I believe they should do it so they'll focus more on the time frame of the Second Age. I think that in many ways, the Amazon try and make the show similar to the Lord of the Rings movies and Hobbit movies, as for example, firstly, even with the casting choices, with actresses and actors such as Morfydd Clark, who is playing Galadriel, as she looks remarkably like Kate Blanchett, who plays Galadriel in the films, and the same with Robert Armo, who's playing Elrond, who looks a lot like Hugo Weaving. So there are similarities there. So I think they do want to have continuity as well, which is really interesting. And even as I said before, with Peter Jackson being involved, that would help for having the same maybe style of Lord of the Rings, because even with their flaws, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits were successful movies, and maybe to continue the success, Amazon want to be similar to the Lord of the Rings movies as well. It is actually a great question, because my channel being made and me starting the channel was actually quite an accident, because originally I was actually working for the Everything in Middle Earth YouTube channel, but I don't believe he uploads that much anymore. But I was meant to be and I was normally my job there was finding the latest news, but then he was actually working, the owner of the channel, Jordan Mountford, who is a really good friend of mine. He actually was shooting a film, so I had to make a video that's up to date with the news. And that was actually the first video on this channel, because I wasn't able to send the video to him properly, so he wasn't able to upload it. So that video is meant to be on his channel, it's actually on mine as my first ever video. And then I thought I might as well start my own channel, and that's how I actually started. So yeah, that's quite an interesting story, because if I had said in that video, I probably wouldn't have a channel right now. And also because I believe that the Lord of the Rings is quite Middle Earth and Tolkien is quite big on YouTube right now, but there isn't as many Lord of the Rings TV show channels right now, so I want to fill in that gap as well, and that's another reason why I started, because I had that at the back of my mind as well. But thank you Istari, for letting me be on your channel, and for letting us have this collaboration. It's been really good answering all these questions, and I will be inviting you on my channel as well, and whenever you want. So yeah, maybe that's for the future as well. And again, thank you to everyone listening for having me as well. So yeah, thank you.
And thank you for answering these questions. I would be honored to be on your channel anytime you'd like. Na in Ariel in Niaglar.